With all the sequels, reboots, spin-offs, and occasional original films that get released every month, it can be hard to keep track of what's actually getting released. Luckily, we've combed through every notable movie release that's coming down the pipeline this fall, so you won't have to worry about missing anything. Here are some of the future blockbusters we're projecting will hit it big in the fall in order of their expected release date. Mandy. It seems like Nicolas Cage's entire career was leading to Mandy. The story follows a mountain man named Red, whose girlfriend Mandy is kidnapped, leading him to embark on a brutal odyssey of revenge against the cult leader responsible. Pretty much everyone who's seen Mandy has walked away praising both Cage's performance and director Panos Cosmatos' dedication to making a truly insane film. The movie drops into theaters September 14th, so keep your schedule clear if you want to see Nicolas Cage act insane in a way only he can. The Predator. Kicking off a new round of interplanetary big game hunting, The Predator finds writer-director Shane Black making a long overdue return to the franchise. According to actor Thomas Jane, the plot will involve a group of PTSD-stricken soldiers who band together to kill the spine-cracking alien hunters. The movie's got an incredible cast featuring Olivia Munn, Trevante Rhodes, Keegan-Michael Key, Sterling K. Brown, and Edward James Olmos. We can expect our ragtag heroes to face off against everyone's favorite skull collector on September 14th.
Should I be worried? Riley.
Operation Finale. Directed by Chris Weitz, Operation Finale tells the true story of an elite Israeli spy unit tasked with capturing a high-profile Nazi who escaped to Argentina after the war. With Oscar Isaac starring as the leader of the unit and Ben Kingsley as the fugitive Nazi, there's sure to be some incredible acting in this historical drama. The film hits theaters on September 14th, and if you're at all interested in history, espionage, or real-life revenge stories, then Operation Finale might be right up your alley. The House with a Clock in Its Walls. Eli Roth isn't really known for his kid-friendly films, but he's looking to change things up with The House with a Clock in Its Walls. Based on the classic children's book by John Bellairs, this gothic fright flick tells the story of a 10-year-old boy who's sent to live in a quiet Michigan town with an uncle played by Jack Black, who turns out to be a warlock. The House with a Clock in Its Walls also stars Cate Blanchett and Kyle MacLachlan, and it's set to scare kids on September 21st. The Old Man and the Gun. While his films don't usually get a lot of attention from mainstream audiences, director David Lowery has been on a low-key roll since 2013 with movies like Ain't Them Bodies Saints, Pete's Dragon, and A Ghost Story. Now, Lowery is re-teaming with Robert Redford for The Old Man and the Gun, the amazing true story of Forrest Tucker, a 71-year-old crook who escaped from prison and went on a bank-robbing spree around the country. Sissy Spacek plays his love interest, and Casey Affleck stars as the cop determined to bring him down. The Old Man and the Gun will arrive on September 28th, which gives you plenty of time to visit your own elderly relatives and hear about their wild lives first. Venom. Everyone's favorite spider-themed anti-hero Venom is finally going to star in a major motion picture. The alien symbiote is now slated to sling his way into theaters on October 5th, 2018, with Tom Hardy in the title role. Hardy's not the only acting powerhouse to appear in the film. Venom also stars Riz Ahmed, Michelle Williams, and Jenny Slate. With this much talent involved, Venom is at least guaranteed to be more watchable than the last time he appeared on screen. Bad Times at the El Royale. Sometimes all a movie needs to do is pack in enough talented actors for it to be incredible. And Bad Times at the El Royale definitely looks like a sleazy good time with some talented actors. Jeff Bridges, Chris Hemsworth, Dakota Johnson, and John Hamm star in the noirish movie written and directed by Drew Goddard, best known for helming Cabin in the Woods. While plot details are scarce, we know the story is set in the 60s and involves a bunch of crooks who wind up at a Lake Tahoe hotel. There's a bank robbery, a cult leader, and a mysterious organization spying on the hotel guests. Regardless, we're pretty excited to watch these unsavory characters go head-to-head on October 5th.
The El Royale, no place for a priest.
First Man. After the smashing success of La La Land, Ryan Gosling and Damien Chazelle will be joining forces again for First Man. Instead of singing City of Stars, Gosling will be shooting for the moon. First Man will tell the story of the space race, with Gosling playing Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon in 1969. Along with Gosling, Corey Stoll plays astronaut Buzz Aldrin, Lucas Haas plays astronaut Mike Collins, and the cast will be rounded out by Kyle Chandler, Claire Foy, Pablo Schreiber, and John Bernthal. The film is in incredibly capable hands, so we can't wait for First Man to finally launch on October 12th. Serenity. Written and directed by Stephen Knight, Serenity promises to be anything but serene. The film follows a fishing boat captain played by Matthew McConaughey who gets lured into a murderous scheme by a femme fatale played by Anne Hathaway. She's sick and tired of being abused by her wealthy husband, so she wants McConaughey to turn the guy into shark food. Of course, in film noir, nothing is ever as it seems, and you can't trust anyone, even Anne Hathaway. Serenity sails into theaters on October 19th, and judging by the trailer, this shark-infested thriller promises to have quite a bite.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
The Sisters Brothers. Based on the acclaimed novel by Patrick DeWitt, the story follows a pair of brothers whose last name is Sisters. The Sisters Brothers make their living killing people, and they're sent to hunt down a chemist who's stolen a formula that reveals the location of gold. The gunslinging siblings are played by Joaquin Phoenix and John C. Reilly, Riz Ahmed plays their prey, and Jake Gyllenhaal stars as a miner caught in the middle. Plus, there's Rutger Hauer and Carol Kane rounding out the star-studded cast. The Sisters Brothers promises to ride into theaters this fall, and we can't wait to see these actors fight it out in the Old West.
Have you ever had to be in a fight? I've been in a ton of fights. That's why I figured out how to stay the heck out of a fight.
The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. Disney is releasing their next live-action fantasy just in time for Thanksgiving. The Nutcracker and the Four Realms is set to dance into cinemas on November 2nd, complete with gorgeous sets, elaborate costumes, and quite a few familiar faces. Inspired by E.T.A. Hoffman's story, the plot follows a young girl named Clara who winds up in a strange world of talking nutcrackers, intimidating toy soldiers, and scary rodents. Along the way, she'll encounter a sugar plum fairy that looks like Keira Knightley, a mysterious old man who resembles Morgan Freeman, and a villainous dictator who shares a certain similarity to Helen Mirren. Based on the trailers, we can expect the adaptation of this beloved legend to dance in a dark direction. Bohemian Rhapsody. With his flawless voice and sexy swagger, Freddie Mercury is one of the greatest rock stars in music history. A biopic has been in the works since 2010, but the film hit multiple roadblocks along the way.
No one will play us on the radio.
We need to get experimental.
Finally, Bohemian Rhapsody is set for a 2018 release date, with Rami Malek of Mr. Robot playing the Queen frontman. In addition to Malek's own voice, the film will capture Mercury's unique vocal range with the help of singer Mark Martel and sound bites from Mercury himself. It's taken 8 long years for Bohemian Rhapsody to get here, and when the film hits theaters on November 2nd, it promises it will rock you. Robin Hood. Taron Egerton stars as Robin Hood, finally bringing the outlaw archer back to the silver screen for the first time in almost a decade. However, this version won't be quite as merry as the ones we've seen before.
Lend me your ears. That's disgusting.
2018's Robin Hood is going to be like a medieval version of Batman Begins, showing us how Robin of Locksley became Great Britain's most famous bandit. Taking Robin Hood in a dark direction is certainly an interesting choice, and with the winning combo of Egerton and Jamie Foxx as his partner, the upcoming action flick could be one of 2018's most exciting movies. Robin Hood will be stealing its way into theaters on November 21st. Welcome to Marwen. Inspired by the 2010 documentary Marwen Cole, director Robert Zemeckis will tell the story of Mark Hogenkamp, a cross-dresser who was brutally assaulted by a group of thugs. Suffering from brain damage and PTSD, he coped with his attack by constructing a miniature World War II village in his backyard. Welcome to Marwen stars Steve Carell in the lead role, Gwendolyn Christie as Hogenkamp's caretaker, and Diane Kruger as a Belgian witch, one of Hogenkamp's characters come to life. The film also features Leslie Mann and Janelle Monáe, and it's scheduled to arrive in theaters on November 21st.